You're joining me, Esther, at Stampin Star Creations for a Christmas Stampathon 2020. So this month's challenge was to go monochromatic, so to use one shade of colour to create some cards. I've chosen green naturally for Christmas, so going in with garden green, pear pizzazz and soft seafoam. And I'll be using Rooted in Nature and Lovely You stamp set to create a one sheet wonder today. I'll be using a plain piece of Whisper white cardstock and just going around and kind of doing an oval wreath design. So trying not to be too particular as to where I'm going. It's very difficult not to go in straight lines, but to try and go oval and to try and go fairly random. So going in with garden green first and just trying to lay down some bold colour with this leaf from Rooted in Nature. Next, I'm bringing in the pear pizzazz and just splaying out these sprigs. I remembered that when you're doing these kind of designs, you do want the leaves to go in different directions. You don't need it to be too static. I wanted it fairly free-flowing, and I wanted foliage to make sure that it came in the centre as well as pointing outwards. So I interchange between the colours using different leaves each time. Just keep adding to the picture and going round. Then coming back with pear pizzazz and then using this other leaf and just trying to stretch now this leaf in areas, and just with using different leaves it gives different textures and movement to your work, so just trying to make it as organic as possible without looking like a hot mess. So I did remember that you can go right into the corners of this type of design. I did a rough copy on a piece of paper and I folded it, and it gave me an idea where things would go. So using the skeleton leaf and introducing soft seafoam, this really helped to fill any gaps and white spaces that I had, and it just added a nice dimension and shading to my piece of work. Then looking over all and stepping back at my sheet of paper, I realised that actually it needed a bit more garden green just to ground it all. So I'm using this flower, which actually hardly shows by the end of it, but it just really helps to ground the stems and to just fill in any awkward gaps on the piece of artwork. And then I'm coming in with some masking and a blending brush here to add some colour in the soft seafoam. So I went a bit heavy first of all, and I learnt my lesson, and I thought actually I don't need to go over all my work, I just need to maybe add a little bit of stenciling in the white gaps because it looked too much otherwise. This seemed to work, just working on a few white spaces around the edges and the inside. And then adding some flicks and splatters with the Mossy Meadow blender pen, because I didn't have a matching blender pen. I didn't do those colours in the blends. But this worked out perfectly. It was just needed a bit of movement with the splatters and the dots. So like I said, it might look like a hot mess at the moment, but obviously I'm going to cut these down into 4. So just cutting them into quarters and then trimming them down again so that you get the right matte layer size. So I'm just showing you that they look different as individuals, and cutting it down to 5 7/8 by 3. What's the measurement? 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. Sorry, and just cutting down the bits that you can afford to lose. So coming back in with my blender brush, I'm just working around the edges to take away that stark whiteness of the edge, and just concentrating around the corners. So bringing another stamp set for Unto Us, I wanted some sentiments on my cards, so just using garden green to stamp a few sentiments onto some Whisper white. Bringing on this Stitch So Sweetly dies and just trying to see which ones match up with which sentiment. And then again, once those are cut out, I'm just going around the edge with the blending brush. So to complete the cards, I'm putting on some of this lovely thin ribbon, which comes as a duo pack with Old Olive and is it Old Olive or Pear, Pizzazz and Poppy Parade, I can't remember which now, and layering on the sentiments with dimensionals. So this thin ribbon is perfect for just adding an accent to the cards without taking over the design. And I'm mounting them all onto Garden Green. So doing the same with each of the cards, adding dimensionals, and with this one I just want to cover that smudge in the corner, so I add on a bow and tuck that in the corner. And then for the last card I've gone for the bow and the little swag in the background. And I'm just rolling up the glue dot here because it's thin ribbon to make it fit onto the back of my bow. I couldn't resist adding just a little bit of bling to finish off the cards. I'm using the gold gilded rhinestones. And these are the finished cards. I was really pleased with the way they worked out, and you know, you just got to trust that process and continue with it to see how they're going to come out. You've got to remember that it's only part of the background, so obviously you're going to add sentiments and more things to it. So I hope you can join us for the Christmas Stampathon. We put down a challenge once a month so that you're all set for Christmas and there's not a last minute panic. Thank you so much for watching along. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing that and give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed today's video. Please comment below or ask any questions. Have a nice day and take care. Bye.